2021, there were 5.4 million new business applications, which was up almost a million over 2020. That's crazy. Like those numbers to me are astounding that there are this many new businesses being created. Now, some of that, of course, is because the technology is more accessible than ever. You could start a business with Shopify account and a laptop, and it's pretty easy to just get up and running, or, a Square reader on your phone, and you're off to the races. And so a lot of people are starting businesses. And I think that it's also spreading across generations of people. Older people are starting businesses when they never thought they'd be an entrepreneur. And maybe they're choosing to not go back to their jobs because their businesses are picking up. And younger people are choosing entrepreneurship instead of going into the workforce and working for another business. And so it's this widening of the spectrum, the scope of people that are becoming entrepreneurs. And then it's this deepening of just the number of people that can do this because of the accessibility of technology. So we're seeing all these new entrepreneurs. So the question I got asked is, what advice would I give to this next generation of entrepreneurs, which is a broad topic, but maybe if you know someone starting a business, or if you're starting a business yourself, maybe one of these tips will strike a chord for you. And that's what I'm hoping to do here. So first things first, I would say every business should actually create some form of a business plan. Does that sound crazy? I think people used to create business plans. I remember when I was in college and going to business school, we created business plans. We had a business plan competition. It seems like no one does this anymore. And it wasn't until I started Trainual and ever experienced raising money that I had to come back to creating a business plan and realizing the value of having a business plan. And the value is really in creating it. The value is having a vision for your business of where it's going to go this year and next year and 3 years from now. What are the products and services you're offering? What are the prices of those products and services? How much of them are you going to sell over the next few years? How many people do you need on board in order to make that happen? What's your go-to-market, your marketing plan to be able to get customers? How do the financials work? What do your margins look like? And what kind of profit are you going to make? And if you have some startup costs, how are you going to finance the start of the business and the scale of the business to the size that you want it to be? A simple business plan doesn't have to take so long, but even if you have an existing business right now with no business plan, create one. Please have a plan, because if you have a plan, you can work to hit your plan. If you don't have a plan, any activities will do, right? So create a business plan would be my first advice to new or existing entrepreneurs. Next, what I'd say is definitely don't do everything yourself. Hire person number 2 as soon as possible. And I think that can be scary for a lot of business owners or entrepreneurs. You start off in business because maybe you're good at something, you've got some sort of skill, but you can't scale a business by taking more and more onto your plate. And this is a lesson that I wish I had learned a little sooner, is the sooner you get person number 2 in there, the sooner you start to taste the sweet nectar of delegation, right? The sooner that you're able to split responsibilities, divide roles in the company, and realize that you don't have to do everything. You can start to focus on doing fewer things better. And until you hire that second person, you don't get that feeling. And as soon as you hire person number 2, you start to think about number 3 and number 4 and number 5. And so I would encourage everyone to start thinking about person number 2, if you don't have a co-founder, as soon as possible, because you need to divide responsibilities if you're going to grow the business. Next thing I would say is always stay close to your customer. When you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're in tech, it's easy to want to just hide behind a computer or hide behind a phone, or even outsource the emails and phone calls and just be kind of a nameless person. But I think you need to stay close to the customer for 2 reasons. One, R&D. You want to understand the customer and do research and development on how to make your product or your service even better. And the closer you are to the customer, the more often you're talking to them or supporting them, the more you'll get that firsthand feedback feedback that you internalize as the founder, and that then goes into every area of your business and how you take the business, the trajectory of your future is all from that R&D. And then the other thing you get is referrals. If you build relationships with your customers, you can get great testimonials and case studies and direct referrals to other businesses because you start to build a relationship. And so stay close to your customer. Don't ignore your customer. Next, don't be afraid to charge more. So this is something a lot of entrepreneurs, when they're just getting started, don't know what to charge. And so because of that, you charge so little because you don't have confidence in what you're doing. And maybe that's founded. Maybe you shouldn't have confidence because you're not that good yet. But as soon as you start to see success, as soon as you get those referrals and testimonials, you really should be thinking about charging more. When I started my consulting business, I started charging more with every single new client I got. I raised the price just a little bit because how am I supposed to know where the right price is if I wasn't getting any no's? So I keep raising the price until people start to say, let me think about it. And now I know I found a price that's appropriate for the level of service I'm delivering. And then I work on delivering a better service and raising my price again. And if you do that over and over, your business grows with fewer customers. And that's really important because the more customers you have, the more chaos in the business, the more employees you need to serve those customers, the more phone calls and emails that are coming in. And so you really need to dial in your price because if you can make more with fewer customers, it's an easier business and it gives you more capacity for more customers. So don't be afraid to charge more as you get better. Revisit your pricing over and over. Next advice or tip here would be just be patient, enjoy the process. A lot of entrepreneurs get started and want to make $100,000 in their first year, or they set their sights on $1 million in revenue. It took me like a decade to build a business that had over $1 million in revenue. Like, it's not easy. It takes a long time. Overnight successes are not real. A lot of people saw Trainual as, oh, this seems like it just scaled and grew like crazy overnight. Well, I had businesses for 18 years before starting Trainual. And I had even had Trainual for 3 years before launching entity of Trainual and actually taking it to market. I had this thing I was kicking around and wasn't doing much with, but you've got to enjoy the process and you need to be patient and realize that it's one step at a time. You're learning as you go and you have to celebrate those mini successes and not set your sights on too big a success, too crazy number. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just kind of create your own journey and realize when you're learning along the way. And then the last thing I would say is entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It just isn't. I remember when I was a teenager, my mom tried to start her own business and she really struggled with it. And Mom, if you're listening, I loved watching you build that company. And I know you're still doing some consulting today, but the business she had, the brick and mortar business, did not work. And that's okay. It's not for everyone. And so if you're starting this thing and you're grinding and you're making your business and you talk to your friend at dinner and their job sounds appealing and you're jealous of their car and their salary, you know what? Just get a job. It's easier. Go get a job. There's benefits. There's friends at work. It's nice. It's amazing. But if that does not appeal to you, if you're like, you know what, at any salary, with any car, with any house, with any kind of group of people, I need to build this thing that's in my head. And if I don't build it, I'm going to just be devastated. Then keep doing what you're doing. That's when you want to be an entrepreneur. But if you're looking at others and you're wanting the results without the work, then find the job that's right for you and don't grind at a business. But if you've heard all of this and you really want to start your business, I'm so excited that there's more entrepreneurs. We've had a few people leave Trainual, start their own businesses, and I think that that's a healthy cycle for people to do. And so it's a great thing. I support all entrepreneurs, and hopefully you're getting value out of this show because I'm doing it for you, for entrepreneurs, for leaders at those companies. These tips are for you. So good luck to the next generation, those extra million entrepreneurs that popped up last year. And I hope we continue to see even more.